Then it's this button right here, talk, so I can see if it hears you.
Hey, what's up?
Okay. And it's the same thing. It's like you do like that and that and share. Over to your other thing here, make sure it's working. Yes. So now you can go over here.
Can you hear me?
Hold on. Go to the next tab over. And I'm gonna go test it.
Hold on. I need to kiss you first. We're gonna do it. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting this going.
Good luck.
This is a new setup for right now. Unfortunately, our other one is running out of minutes for the month, so we'll have to wait until like a couple more weeks or so to get it back. We want to go to the professional version, hopefully, but that costs more money than we have right now. So, especially with having, our baby any minute. So, that's just the way it goes. But we do have a good show anyway. You just won't be able to see me, but you're able to see the screen and hear me talk. Yeah, we're making sure right now. Just going and listening to it. Yeah, it's on the TV. I can hear me. I got a surround sound. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So as soon as Daughter Botan gets back here, we'll start. And that is very freaky. I'm waiting for you. Okay. I go. We're going to get this show on the road. Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock and roll.
Today's video is brought to you by Audible.
Sacrifice.
Is after school supposed to start
you get
with
to pick your damn
sound?
sacrifice. That's all. You don't get to not make one.
I don't.
You're sacrificial whether you want to be or not.
Hold on, let me see.
This is the Peter Pan story. Pan is this magical boy. Pan is the god of everything, roughly speaking, right? And so it's not
Nothing.
an accident that he has the name Pan. And he's the boy that won't grow up. And he's magical. Well, that's because children are magical. They can be anything. They're nothing but potential. And Peter Pan doesn't want to give that up.
No.
Why? Well, he's got some adults around him, but the main adult is Captain Hook. Well, who the hell wants to grow up to be Captain Hook?
Let me see.
First of all, you've got a hook.
On this thing alone, it's
Second,
not.
you're a tyrant.
Hold on,
And
let me
third,
see.
you're chased by the dragon of chaos with a clock in its stomach.
You
right?
can
The
see a very
crocodile.
dark
It's already
me.
got a
Sorry
piece
about that,
of
ladies
you.
and gentlemen.
Well, that's what happens when you get older. Time has already got a piece of you. And eventually, it's got a taste for you. And eventually, it's going to eat you. And so Hook is so traumatized by that he can't help but be a tyrant. And then Peter...
This.
Yeah, I did that already.
Pan looks at traumatized Hook and says, well, no, I'm not sacrificing my childhood
Okay.
to that.
On the computer.
So that's fine, except he ends up king of the Lost Boys.
So
In Neverland.
We gotta
Well,
restart
Neverland
this.
doesn't exist, and who the hell wants to be
over.
king of the Lost Boys?
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
This is
I
the-
could not hear it even though you guys could. So let's do this again right. And in order to talk, I've got to stop the video, right?
you pause it.
I know, but I mean, like, in order to hear me. Right.
Yeah.
Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. You don't get to not make one. So you're sacrificial whether you want to be or not. This is the Peter Pan story, roughly speaking. Peter Pan is this magical boy. Pan is the god of everything, roughly speaking, right? And so it's not an accident that he has the name Pan. And he's the boy that won't grow up. And he's magical. Well, that's because children are magical. They can be anything. They're nothing but potential. And Peter Pan doesn't want to give that up. Why? Well, he's got some adults around him, but the main adult is Captain Hook. Well, who the hell wants to grow up to be Captain Hook? First of all, you've got a hook. Second, you're a tyrant. And third, you're chased by the dragon of chaos with a clock in its stomach, right? The crocodile. It's already got a piece of you. Well, that's what happens when you get older. Time has already got a piece of you. and eventually it's got a taste for you, and eventually it's going to eat you. And so Hook is so traumatized by that he can't help but be a tyrant. And then Peter Pan looks at traumatized Hook and says, well, no, I'm not sacrificing my childhood for that. So that's fine, except he ends up king of the Lost Boys. In Neverland, well, Neverland doesn't exist, and who the hell wants to be king of the Lost Boys? And he also sacrifices the possibility that he'll have a real relationship with a woman, because that's Wendy, right? And she's kind of conservative, middle class, London dwelling girl. She wants to grow up and have kids and have a life. She accepts her mortality, she accepts her maturity. Peter Pan has to content himself with Tinkerbell. She doesn't even exist. She's like the fairy of porn. She doesn't exist. She's the substitute for the real thing. So, but the dichotomy that you're talking about is very tricky, because there's a sacrificial element in maturation, right? You have to sacrifice the pluripotentiality of childhood for the actuality of a frame. And the question is, well, why would you do that? Well, not. You can either choose your damn limitation, or you can let it take you unaware when you're 30, or even worse, when you're 40. And then that is not a happy day. I see people like this, and I comment in our culture, because people can put off maturity without suffering an immediate penalty. But all that happens is the penalty accrues, and then when it finally hits, it just wallops you. Because when you're 25, you can be an idiot. It's no problem. Even when you're out in a job search, it's like, well, you don't have any experience and you're kind of clueless. It's yeah, you're young, it's no problem. That's what young people are like, but they're full of potential. Okay, well, now you're the same person at 30. It's like people aren't so thrilled about you at that point. It's like, what the hell have you been doing for the last 10 years? Well, I'm just as clueless as I was when I was 22. It's yeah, but you're not 22. You're an old infant, right? And that's an ugly thing, an old infant. So part of the reason you choose your damn sacrifice, because the sacrifice is inevitable, but at least you get to choose it. And then there's something that's even more complex than that in some sense, is that the problem with being a child is that all you are is potential, and it's really low resolution. You could be anything, but you're not anything. So then you go and you adopt an apprenticeship, roughly speaking, and then you become something. And when you're something, that makes the world open up to you again. Like if you're a really good plumber, then you end up being far more than a plumber, right? You end up being a good employer. Not that plumbers, I'm not putting plumbers down. It's like more power to plumbers. They've saved more lives than doctors. So hygiene, right? So, if you're a really good plumber, well, then you have some employees, you run a business, you train some other people, you enlarge their lives, you're kind of a pillar of the community, you have your family. Once you pass through that narrow training period, which narrows you and constricts you and develops you at the same time, then you can come out the other end with a bunch of new possibility at hand. And Jung talked about that. He thought that the proper path of development in the last half of life was to rediscover the child that you left behind as you were apprenticing. And so then you get to be something and regain that potential at the same time. Very, very smart. Well, he was very, very smart. So that's very wise thing to know. Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. You don't get to not make one. So you're sacrificial whether you want to be or not. That's a good thing to know as well.
If you want to hear more insights from Dr. Jordan Peterson, we highly recommend checking out his book.
Okay.
It's so true, because you like with health being an example, he said getting rid of sacrificing sodas and pork.
Yes.
It was like that was difficult. One was easy, one was more difficult, but it's bad for you anyway, or at least it was bad for me anyway.
Yes, exactly.
So it was like, why not choose to sacrifice the thing that's already not doing you any good?
Yeah, exactly, and better yourself in the process.
So in a lot of people's cases, it's like chronic masturbation. You know, it's like
Yes.
what the focus of this whole live stream is supposed to be about. So it's like, in that case, it's like that's already, it's bad for you. It's bad for you spiritually, mentally, physically. That's just not good for you. So why not sacrifice that to elevate yourself?
You kill
Yeah.
you kill sperm every time you do it.
Yeah, right? Potential for life.
Potential life, yes. You're killing potential life.
Whereas us women only do that once a month with like 1 or 2 eggs.
And you guys do it without even being able to say if you
Yeah,
want
nature
to.
does it.
Yeah, it does it.
Well, sometimes you guys like have that issue, right? Like sometimes it just happens.
Yeah, it has.
Like especially if you're younger.
Yes.
But
The more younger, you don't know what's going on. There's a
or you're
dream,
sleeping,
things happen.
exactly. So I mean, if that's the case, and it's like that wasn't really your choice. It wasn't
No.
like a, but it's like written. It's like don't expel your seed
Yes.
anywhere but your wife.
Exactly.
It's sacred.
And
I
I
don't
mean,
think they teach that enough.
today's day and age, they're going off on everything.
Yeah.
It's like they're gonna go find a side chick. They're gonna go find a side chick to a side chick. They're
Yes,
gonna go find
exactly.
this hooker down the street. They're gonna. I mean, it's like they're always going for it.
I mean, I know, and a lot of guys actually prefer to have prostitutes and everything, or just cheap girlfriends because it's better than trying to be married in this day and age, supposedly.
But it's not if you find the right people.
Again,
You find
your sacrifice.
You find your partner, your wife, your husband, whatever you are, and your opposite. Then that's when your life becomes so much easier. I know mine sure as hell did.
It's difficult, It's
Oh yeah, you're gonna fight. I mean, you're people.
But I mean, but it's just like you never question it. It's just like
Yeah.
that you're in the same boat, going toward the same goal,
and you're both trying to help each other get there
right
in a better way.
It's like if I'm ever bitching, complaining, or nipping at you, it's only because I want it to be better for you.
Yes.
It's like I'm worried about either your health or
Exactly.
elevating yourself. It does not to serve me. It's just I want to elevate you. That's the whole point. But yeah, choose your sacrifice. It's like
choose wisely.
Marriage can be a sacrifice, and divorce can be a sacrifice. Which one's going to serve you better?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It is. It's almost over.
12 Rules for Life. You can listen to the entire audiobook for free when you use our link at audible.com/afterschool or text afterschool to 500-500. Jordan Peterson may be the most misrepresented person in history, but there is no denying the straightforward wisdom in his teachings. His audiobooks on Audible are all narrated in his own voice, and they are useful if you're short on time.
All right.
Audible is great for listening while you commute.
Come on, stop. Just so everybody knows, I listen to Jordan Peterson any chance that I get. He has a great whole setup on marriage, but a lot of that is actually on the Daily Wire Plus, which we have. So I've been listening to a lot of his stuff. I mean, he is really good. His speeches are so good. There's so much that he says that just it's great listening to the way he says it.
Yeah, and he's very brash sometimes, and matter of fact, and down to the point.
Yes.
And I really like that. There's like a grittiness to it. It's like just really honest.
Yes.
And it's like I know a lot of people are very sensitive these days, so they say that he's mean. But we get that a lot as well, apparently.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what they think of people like him and Matt Walsh understand that dry humor.
I know.
Like for me, it's just like literally sitting in and listening to Toth. If Toth was like a person speaking, that's
for sure.
Like,
see, and it's really funny the way that he says this stuff, because he'll be like, and then this will happen, which then leads to this,
exactly.
or then, and it's like you just see it, and you're like, yep.
Yep. It's like he's good. Yeah, I really, really want to do the one talking about marriage.
Yes, I do too, because it's a real good one.
It's worth the risk.
He has a lot of points. So yeah, I think we will try to do that. Maybe
do it, like at least small clips.
Yeah, maybe Monday, but I don't know if due to school or not. Columbus Day.
Yeah, they still know. It's not Columbus Day.
I know, but I don't know if that school does, because it's different then. So we'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll get it done. I think all of this
or during a workout. So right now,
Yes.
when you go to audible.com/afterschool or text after school to 500 500, you will get a 30
Mm-mm-mm.
Like, what happened to this? Why did they turn into popcorns?
Fuel your dreams, and unlock the
the-
secrets of the universe. Now imagine flushing it down the toilet daily. Sounds dumb, right? Well, that's exactly what you're doing every time you masturbate. Take a deep breath.
True.
Feel that energy coursing through you. That's your life force, your power, and you're squandering it. For what? A fleeting moment of pleasure? Masturbation isn't just a harmless habit, it's actively killing your spirit. Uncomfortable? Good. Growth happens at the edge of discomfort. Grow up. Ask yourself, are you truly living up to your full potential?
Wow.
Are you as energized, focused, and spiritually connected as possible? If not, what you're about to hear might just revolutionize your life. This isn't about morality or religion. It's about tapping into ancient wisdom that modern science is only beginning to grasp. It's about reclaiming your power and unleashing your true potential. In Taoist philosophy, they speak of Jing, your body's most precious essence. Think of it as the oil in your car's engine.
And they always talk
Every
about
ejaculation
importance.
depletes this
I know.
essence, this life force energy we're required to create.
All right, we were just talking, and it's true. It's like, why not put this into your son's head? It's like always, oh, this is for you, but this is for all. Like, everybody needs to hear it, and it's uncomfortable sometimes for parents to tell their kids the truth. But why not start them off on a better path than having somebody else tell them it, or them not learning it, and them going down the bad path? Be the one for your kids.
I was gonna say school is really nasty. Like,
It is.
Like, it's almost like prison culture things. They're always like doing nasty things to each other, gestures or talking about
Yeah.
stuff, and then you always hear about parents teaching girls to respect their bodies and make sure nobody does anything to them and everything. But you never hear that with the guys, and they're most sacred.
I know.
So it's like, why do people not put that? in their
Exactly.
head, He was saying something interesting. 100
Drops of blood were required to create one drop of.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy, right?
It is, yeah.
Is it worth your life force,
That's damn true.
Create one drop of semen. That's how valuable they considered this fluid. But ejaculating is natural. You're probably thinking, well, it's not natural, you're in a mental paradigm. You've been caught in a construct, conditioned to believe that it's natural to self-pleasure and to ejaculation. And even if it was natural, we all know the consequences of overindulgence. You can't ascend to your highest self while constantly indulging your lowest impulses. It's like trying to climb a mountain while digging a hole beneath your feet. Let me get specific about what you're losing with each ejaculation. Semen is a complex fluid containing over 200 separate proteins, as well as vitamins B12, C, and E, zinc, calcium, citric acid, fructose, and other nutrients. You're literally expelling life-giving substances from your body that are meant to be used to create a human baby. This is not rhetoric.
Yes.
This is a fact. But it's not just about the physical components. It's about the energy, the potential, the very essence of.
Yes, I completely agree with that.
That's crazy.
It's what you're supposed to use to create a baby, and especially when you get deeper into this and you look at the culture of the gays, and with what all the stuff that they get into with it, and the waste, and I mean, then it just gets deeper into it, and you're further down the rabbit hole on a bad.
I know. I kind of started thinking about that too. It's like with their, immoral behaviors. It's
Yes.
like, when are they considered to be immoral? Because it's like the whole point is to procreate. I mean, it's like you don't
Yeah.
have to, but that is the biological source of it all, the scientific source of it all. And it's like, so you're sending these things out without it searching out an egg or anything.
Yes,
That's like fucked up,
very much so. It is. Yes,
and defiling yourself,
you are.
Of creation that you're carelessly tossing away. Every time you masturbate, you're choosing momentary pleasure over long-term power and vitality. Think about the most successful, charismatic people you know. Have you ever noticed an aura of magnetism around them? He's got aura. That's the power of retained sexual energy. When you stop wasting this energy, you start radiating a charisma that attracts success, opportunities, and deep connections. Comment below if. For the skeptics, I'll explain the science. 1. Frequent masturbation desensitizes dopamine in all areas of life. You're essentially giving yourself a form of anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure and cognitive function. Studies have shown that abstaining from it in 45.7%. Imagine what that could do for your energy levels, your mental clarity, and your drive to achieve your goals. 3. Porn-induced erectile dysfunction pixels instead of people.
Yes, now that is one of the biggest things that I've seen, and it's the other rabbit hole of what you see has to be tenfold more because your brain gets used to it.
Like any other drug.
Yes.
Or any other food.
You have to keep upping your intake. You have to keep watching nastier things so that you can get off because your body won't allow you to any way else. And I mean, that's just downright dumb. It's, if you allow yourself through those paths, then you're just in for a world of hurt.
And it's like, it is really damaging to your relationship, to your self-esteem,
Yes.
to your partner's self-esteem way down the line. And it's like, I wouldn't think that, like, I've read a lot of stories where women, and they've struggled, like the men have struggled with it, with pornography and stuff. And I don't really feel that you have so much. But
No.
The damage that was done already keeps manifesting.
Yes.
And see, that's just the problem that I disagree with them. They're saying, well, yeah, if you're addicted to it, then it's going to keep causing problems. I don't feel that you're addicted to it now, but it's already passed and it still causes problems.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think that it's just an addiction thing. I think it is the literal
mental state of it. Yes,
it's like
for sure.
The demons that are attached to it, things that you let into your life.
That is for sure.
Because so like I said, even over the years, it's like it's not really been a huge thing,
No.
I mean, but it's big enough that it makes an impact.
Yeah, it does.
But not compared to like a lot of the stories that I've read with women talking about we can't even go like 3 nights and doesn't even want to touch her anymore. And
yeah, see, that's the problem. Because the internet allows for such destroyment of a woman's body.
Yeah.
What truly is a woman's body and what they're showing you
right.
a woman's body is. Or even, a woman seeing a guy.
Right.
Either way, the internet ruins that.
Yeah. We get totally different expectations of how things should be done and what should be done. And yeah, I mean, like, we had friends that were only 22 years old and he had to watch pornography just to be with her.
I know, and that's ridiculous.
That's it. It's like, I mean, that would just shatter me, dude. I mean, I couldn't deal with that.
I couldn't imagine.
It's really screwed up.
This isn't just affecting your sex life. It's changing the way your brain processes reward and pleasure, potentially impacting your ability to form deep, meaningful relationships. 4. Research has shown that semen retention can increase androgen receptors in the brain. This means your body becomes more responsive to the testosterone you have, amplifying its positive effects.
Okay.
5. Abstaining from ejaculation has been linked to increased spinal cord reflex excitability.
Big lag. Okay. So here's this is happening already on a smaller scale. Like with Tristan, he has been in love with the same person that he hasn't even met for over 2 years.
Yes.
He's just committed to that. It's really endearing because he's really committed to that.
Yes.
He stays relatively. I mean, he knows about sexual things and everything. He makes jokes about sexual things, but he remains relatively pure in that department.
Mm-hmm.
But his friend on the flip side, he's already done it at school and gotten in trouble for it at school and everything. And he falls in love with every girl that he sees.
Because of it, yes.
And it lasts a day.
Yes.
And then it's then he's on to the next one.
I know.
So see, it's already starts there, that lack of ability to commit.
And a lot of it is how you go about telling your kid too,
Mm-hmm.
showing them what they see the parents doing compared to what they see online or how they see it online.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so many factors.
Just the general intimacy, hugging, being
Yes.
together, problem solving. All of that makes a big difference in how they perceive
Yes, it
relationships.
does.
And then it's like, I don't know, a lot of Christian kind of communities out here. It's just like, well, porn is bad, don't do it. They don't explain
Why?
why.
Yes.
But you can already see it in him. Just already had the lack of pair bonding ability. It's
Yes.
like, what the hell?
I know.
In simpler terms,
Yes,
this
that's
means
really cool.
improved physical performance and faster reflexes. Now, let me tell you about ejaculation, the practice of experiencing orgasm without ejaculation. Yes, orgasm is separate from ejaculation. This isn't just some new age concept. It's rooted in ancient Taoist sexual practices and is gaining recognition in modern sexology. Research and our own experience tells us that ejaculation will lead to increased energy levels by retaining the nutrients and life force in semen. You're keeping their ejaculation isn't necessary for prostate health. Ejaculation allows for the benefits of orgasm
That's interesting.
without the loss of vital fluids. Remember, those fluids are needed to create life. Imagine all the vital life essence within what you habitually eject. Enhanced sexual stamina. As you master control over your ejaculatory reflex, you naturally last longer during sexual activities. More intense orgasm of ejaculatory orgasms. Spiritual awakening. As you learn to circulate sexual energy through your body, you may experience heightened states of consciousness and spiritual insights. Imagine channeling all that conserved energy into your goals, dreams, and spiritual growth. Don't forget what you're here to do. But it's not just about the benefits of retention, it's about selenium and other crucial nutrients. You're flooding your system with prolactin, which suppresses dopamine. You're triggering a refractory period where your body and mind are less capable and less energized. Pause for a moment and think about what I just said. And if you want to learn how to learn, while you'll help us grow. Now let's talk about
Yes.
in tantric traditions, sexual energy is the key to higher consciousness, the fuel for kundalini awakening.
Mhm.
But instead of raising this energy to enlighten your mind, you're spilling it out, dimming your light.
That's good.
The Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, an ancient text of 112 meditation techniques, includes several practices focused on using sexual energy for spiritual awakening. One such technique instructs, at the start of sexual union, keep attentive on the fire in the beginning, and so continuing, avoid the embers in the end. This is about maintaining awareness and circulating energy rather than loose or deep connections. Like I've been saying, you're constantly depleting the very energy needed for spiritual growth. Your sexual energy isn't just about reproduction or pleasure, it's the most potent creative force you possess. It's the energy that can fuel your deepest inspirations, your most enlightening insights. It helps you unfold into the real you. This isn't about repression, it's about mastery. Let me say that again. It's not about repression. It's about mastery. Think. Your sexual energy is like an oil well. Will you let it gush out wastefully or refine it to power your entire life? Here's a roadmap for you. You're welcome to walk this path alongside us. 1. Question every urge. Is this the best use of my creative energy? When you feel the impulse to masturbate, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself what you could create or achieve if you channeled this energy differently. 2. See your sexual energy as sacred. Your body is a temple. Treat it as such. Start viewing your sexuality not as a source of quick pleasure, but as a wellspring of vitality.
Yes, that is one of the biggest things. You should always treat your body as a temple, and that's why. I don't know what the hell I just did. Anyway, that's why you should never put in what you do not want your body to have, as far as, like, just say energy drinks. They're really bad for you. You have fast food. like every now and again, you can get away with it. With energy drinks, I would just stick to coffee. If you're gonna have something different,
Stay at the purest route that you can.
yes. And then, like I said, there's coffee for that. I mean, that perfect, and you can pretty much get coffee everywhere. Anywhere an energy drink is, coffee is, too.
Yeah.
And just try to stay pure. Fast food again every now and again is fine, but don't do it like a couple. Not any more than like I would stick to just once a week if you even have to do that much.
Yeah, that's kind of a lot still. It's like we get our shit maybe once every. I mean, we get fast food like once every 3 months.
Yeah, we just did Taco Bell.
And then
That's
it's
not
like,
real.
yeah, you have to really vet the better places because
Yeah.
there's a lot of other harmful factors that go with the processed
I mean,
foods.
that's one of the biggest problems in America right now is the gluttony that everybody goes through.
Yeah. There's
And
a lot
it's-
more excess than they realize. I mean,
Yeah.
they're really swimming in it.
Fast food is so prominent; it's everywhere,
Oh my
and with
God.
everybody living their lives of I've got to go, go. They're like, okay, fast food, it's right there. I don't have to go home and cook. It's right there. We get it, eat, go,
Right.
and that's what it's trained on.
Yeah, and it's been like, because I mean, to be fair, it's been like that for the past 30 or 40 years.
Yes.
They've had a good generation or two to indoctrinate into that lifestyle.
They have for sure.
Because I mean, even with my mom way back, I got Burger King almost like every day.
Yeah,
And it was like
that creates a lot of issues. I mean, not even
it does,
not
actually.
not even weight wise. Even weight wise, it does too, but not even weight wise, but emotions. It plays with every factor in your body.
I remember there would be times when I'd be coming back from like working with the horses up in Keysville, and it's like we used to stop by Burger King pretty frequently, on the way back, and I got accustomed to having burgers, fries, and then like the ice cream, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes my mother would be like, "No, I don't want to stop. I don't want to go there. We can have this at home. We already have that at home, and we have like food already ready to go." And I would literally like be on the verge of crying because I it was like nothing else sounded good. It was like, damn it, I worked the horses. I'm really hungry. I want that.
Yes.
Even though the pot roast at home would have been just as restorative, I mean, it would be like I got really sulky,
But
really pissy.
But the additives within the fast food
Yeah.
draw you
Right.
to it.
It was bad.
It is bad. Yes.
And it's like even now, it's like I think about it, it's like, oh god, that sounds good. But then once you start eating healthy, it just.
And I
doesn't
mean, the
taste
last
the
time that
same.
I've had like even Burger King, it was junk. It's like we don't eat it that much anymore, and then you go and it's like,
So they've gotten worse at producing it, or we just woken up to the way it actually tastes.
yeah, I don't think it's any different than when we
I
were
know.
having it. I think it's just a matter of that. I mean, yes, they're doing smaller
And the
portions
trans fat
and
thing,
quicker.
Yeah.
They're trying to pump out
Yeah,
more
that's for
and
sure.
stuff like that. So it could be a little different.
It seems like it's different.
But fast food's fast food.
It is.
I mean, there's not very many different ways you can cook the fast food. It's all done the same.
And there's always the conspiracy theory of them using aborted fetuses in their like food. I'm like, I don't think so. Not with the prices that we've seen.
Yeah.
It's like they're gonna go the cheapest route they can. So why would they do that? But
Exactly.
they have said that they found like human DNA in some of the patties. But it's like that could be anything. Exactly. Nasty.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of other reasons to avoid fast food, but for the most part, like we were saying, putting in to your body purity is best.
Yes, for
Whether
sure.
It's what you read, what you listen to, what you eat. It's like watch what you consume.
Yes.
And creative power. 3. Transmute the energy. Channel it into exercise, art, or passion projects. When sexual energy arises, try redirecting it. Do some push-ups, stretches, deep breath work, handstands. Work on that business plan.
Show
You'll be
the
amazed
avatar
at how
air
this
and,
energy
uh,
can
water, by
fuel
the
your
way.
vision. Think,
Or fire or something.
feel. 4. Meditate. Learn to circulate this energy throughout your body. Try this. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and visualize your sexual energy as a warm, golden light in your pelvic area. As you inhale, see this light rising up your spine. As you exhale, let it flow down the front of your body. Repeat this circulation with each breath. Feel your own energy. 5. Explore tantric practices and ejaculation with a partner. Please let it be with someone who you share spiritual connections with, someone who you love. Transform your connections. Tantric sex isn't just about pleasure. It's about using sexual connection as a pathway to spiritual awakening. Start by practicing extended foreplay, synchronized breathing with your partner, and maintaining eye contact during intimacy. Do even more research, literally. 6. Practice testicular breathing, pulls up into your body. It's a powerful way to cultivate and circulate sexual energy. Again, research this specific thing and don't forget the name, testicular breathing. 7. Engage in regular physical exercise. This helps to circulate the conserved sexual energy throughout your body, preventing stagnation and promoting overall vitality. Physical exercise can be things like hatha yoga and qigong as well. You don't have to work yourself into a dirty sweat all the time. Breathe.
Yes,
I read a comment from you guys that said, doesn't ejaculation prevent prostate cancer? Be honest, is that really why you're masturbating? And actually, recent studies have shown in our community and through the wisdom we've studied, it doesn't link whatsoever. Completely forget the notion. Your overall lifestyle, diet, and genetics play a much more significant role. Relax. Here's a provocative thought. Perhaps the powers that be want you to keep masturbating. A population drained of vital energy, numbed by dopamine hits, act of self-empowerment. Let me say that again. In a world saturated with sexual imagery and the lure of instant gratification, choosing to retain and cultivate your sexual energy becomes an act of self-thing. To make you think deeply about how your choices shape your reality. Every time you choose to masturbate, you're making a decision about who you want to be and what you want to achieve in life. Remember that. Here's your challenge, 30 days without masturbation. Retain your energy and transmute it into something higher. Journal your experiences, mood.
That would be really hard for a lot of people in this day and age that we live in. 30 days?
30 days?
Yeah.
It'd be hard. It would be hard, and there's our situation after.
We got to go 40.
Gotta go 40. And if it was a girl, we'd have to go 80.
Yeah. So, after our baby's born, it's a whole thing. We have to go 40 days without.
Yeah, it's something to do with the cleanliness and the spiritual cleansing of it all and everything, which makes sense because it'd be like an ovulation and a half, so that makes sense. But
yes.
I have to look and see if there's any loopholes, Is it just sexual intercourse or is it all sexual acts?
Exactly. Find out, There's always ways around it.
But 30 days for just about anybody, I don't know.
It would be better for you. I mean, it really would. It'd just be hard for a lot of people.
Energy levels, mental clarity, spiritual insights. Pay attention to how your interactions with others change, how your productivity increases, and how your dreams become more vivid. You will struggle. You will get pushed back, and that's okay. The awareness itself is transformative. Each time you resist the urge, you're building willpower, you're reclaiming your power, and you're choosing your higher self over momentary pleasure. Breathe. But if you make it through those 30 days, you'll never see yourself the same way again. You'll tap into a wellspring of power you never knew existed. You will experience increased confidence and charisma, enhanced mental clarity and focus, more vivid dreams and intuitive insights, greater physical vitality and faster recovery from exercise, a magnetic attraction that draws people and opportunities to you, deeper, more fulfilling connections with partners, a sense of purpose and spiritual connection. Remember, this isn't about counting days. The 30 days are just a benchmark, nothing to brag about in the comments section. It's really about a lifestyle change, a paradigm shift leading to a permanent perceptive upgrade. Semen retention doesn't mean no sex. It means mastering your sexual energy. Research ejaculation techniques. Learn more about Taoist and Tantric practices. This is a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. You are not your body. You're not your urges. You are a spiritual being with infinite potential. It's time to stop leaking your power and start embodying it. It's time to reclaim the energy that's rightfully yours and use it to fuel your evolution. Are you ready to reclaim your energy? To stop killing your spirit? Every decision either feeds your spirit or starves it. Every time you choose to retain your attention over stagnation. The power is in your hands, literally. What are you going to do with it?
It was bad.
Revelation.
I think this is like a story time, like a Reddit thing.
12 minutes long. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
This dream of revelation was sent to our mail recently from a dear brother and subscriber to our channel from a country called Belize. For those of you who are hearing the name of this country, Belize, for the first time and wondering where this country can be found. Well, Belize is a country on the northeastern coast of Central America. It is bordered by Mexico to the north. This is the little I know about this country. I am going to read out exactly what he sent to us. But before I continue to read this dream of revelation, I will ask you if you have any testimony that you would want to share with us and with our viewers. You can do so by sending us your testimony through this email address, wisewalk35@gmail.com. You can find this down the screen of this video. Share your dreams, visions, and near-death experience with us to change someone's life for better. Please write them well so they can be readable to our audience. Thank you. Pedro, Belize. I have been a Christian my whole life. Despite my upbringing, I, like many young people, found myself struggling with certain temptations, particularly masturbation. Little did I know that this seemingly private act was more dangerous than I could ever imagine. One night, after a long season of struggling with this sin, I had a dream that changed my life forever. I don't think I can remember all that I saw in my dream, but I will do my best to give you some details of my dream. This is my dream and story. It was a typical Friday night. I had just finished praying, asking God for strength to overcome my weaknesses, when I fell into a deep sleep. In my dream, I found myself in a strange village, where the people in that village have 3 different colors, a fearful place. I was so afraid that I had to hide myself in a bush nearby. I didn't want the people in the village to see me. But suddenly, one elderly man, he was dressed in a very beautiful African cloth with very beautiful colors, came to where I was hiding, and he asked me to follow him. I told him I cannot do that because I was very afraid of the people in that village. He told me, those people you see in this village cannot see you, but you and I can see them. And he said, follow me and let me show you something. As we walked through this strange village, my heart pounded with a mix of fear and curiosity. I saw human beings that were mutilating and terrifying. They had eyes filled with hatred, and their bodies were unhealthy and deformed in unnatural ways. The elderly man told me they were demons, and they were the planners behind the sin of masturbation and spiritual marriages. The old man told me, I brought you here to show you the sins you are committing and have become addicted to on earth wasn't normal. There are some forces behind them. You need to see them so that you can pray against them and set yourself free from this bondage.
Interesting.
He showed me the first demon. This first demon I encountered was the demon of lust. He was tall, with a snake-like body and eyes that glowed with an evil light. What I saw was that this demon whispered lies, enticing young people into the act of masturbation by making it seem harmless and pleasurable. He thrived on our desires and fed off the energy released during the act. I saw young men and women chained and shackled, unable to break free from their addiction to masturbation. The chains were symbolic of their spiritual bondage, holding them captive and preventing them from living a life of purity and holiness. The chains were not ordinary. They were forged from the very essence of the individual's sins and weaknesses. Each link represented an act of masturbation, a moment of giving in to temptation. The more frequent and intense the acts, but also spiritual, symbolizing the deep-rooted bondage that held these young people captive. As I watched, I saw how the chains weighed heavily on the individuals, causing them to slump and struggle with every step. The weight of guilt and shame was clear, pressing down on their shoulders and crushing their spirits. It was clear and upright, let alone walk in the freedom of Christ. Some of the individuals made desperate attempts to break free from their chains. They pulled and lifted, using all their strength, but to no avail. The chains struggle, as if mocking their efforts. The demon of bondage watched with a cruel smile, relishing their futile attempts. The impact of these chains was far-reaching. In the dream, the old man made me to see deep vision of these individuals' lives outside the village. Their relationships were strained, as the shame and guilt made it difficult for them to connect with others. They withdrew from their families and friends, feeling unworthy of love and support. Their academic and professional lives suffered as the constant burden of their secret sin drained their energy and focus. Spiritually, the chains created a barrier between the individuals and God. I saw them kneeling in prayer, but their prayers were faint whispers, barely reaching the heavens.
This is good.
The chains seemed to absorb their cries for help, preventing them from experiencing the fullness of God's grace and mercy. They were trapped in a cycle of sin and repentance, never fully breaking free from the bondage that held them captive. Suddenly, the old man and I found ourselves standing at the edge of a big, bottomless pit. This was the pit of shame. Every time someone engaged in masturbation, I saw them being dragged into this pit. It began small, a slight slip, but with repeated actions, they fell faster and deeper. The more they gave in to their desires, the more they sank into the dark depths of shame. These young people who were addicted to masturbation were trapped. They were constantly attacked with accusations and lies from the demonic entities that hid in the shadows. These demons were shouting non-stop, saying, "You're worthless. God can never forgive you. You'll never be free." One of the most shocking revelations was the spirit of isolation. This demon worked to isolate individuals, making them feel alone and unworthy of love and connection. It developed on the secrecy and shame associated with masturbation, driving a section between the individual and their friends or loved ones. This isolation was a powerful tool of the enemy. Each person in the pit was bound by chains forged from their own regrets, their limbs and hearts. One could see that individuals in the pit trying to move, but the chains held them back, reinforcing their belief that escape was impossible.
Yeah, it does.
The regret of their actions weighed heavily on them, paralyzing them with fear and hopelessness. Many young people believe they have control over their urges, but in reality, they are puppets in the hands of these demonic forces. Masturbation often comes with a veil of deception. This demon made it difficult for individuals to see the true spiritual consequences of their actions. It clouded their judgment, making them believe that their actions were harmless and private. The old man showed me one young guy, but his life was being corrupted and diverted by his addiction to masturbation. The demons delighted in seeing destinies destroyed and purposes unfulfilled. This elderly man explained to me that every act of masturbation stripped individuals of their spiritual power and authority, leaving them vulnerable to further attacks and unable to effectively fight back. When I awoke from this dream, I was shaken to my inner parts. I realized that the sin of masturbation was not just a private act, but a spiritual battle with severe consequences. It affected every aspect of my life, from my relationships to my spiritual walk. The shame and guilt I felt created a barrier between me and God, making it difficult to pray and read the Bible. I felt isolated from my Christian community and unworthy of their love and support. I knew I needed to repent and seek deliverance from these demonic forces. I began to fast and pray fervently, asking God for strength and guidance. I also sought counsel from trusted spiritual leaders who helped me understand the seriousness of my sin and guided me on the path to freedom. To my fellow believers, especially the young people struggling with this sin, I urge you to take this testimony seriously. I have shared this testimony with the youth in my church, and when I saw this channel, Wise Walk, I decided to share my testimony with this channel so that most young people in this world will know this and run away from masturbation. Masturbation is not just a harmless act. It is a spiritual battle with eternal consequences.
Of course it is.
Seek God, repent, and break free from the chains of bondage and deliverance in Jesus Christ. My life has changed dramatically since that dream. I am now living in freedom, with a renewed sense of purpose and a closer relationship with God, but to shed light on the dangers hidden behind this common struggle. May this testimony serve as a warning and a beacon of hope for those seeking deliverance from the demons behind my testimony. God bless you and your viewers. Amen. Make sure to hit the notification.
Number 6 of it.
No, I wasn't touching anything. Anyway, but yeah, see, that's a very good one, and a lot of young people need to hear this, like the preteens in their health classes and stuff. They should really have to hear all of this because it's true. Like a lot of people don't understand the spirituality behind it.
Right.
They don't know anything. They're not taught anything. But then they're just like, well, okay, this feels good.
Right.
This gets me away from something for a while.
That's the culture.
Yes.
It's just like trying to numb yourself enough to get through each day.
Exactly.
And you see it in the young people, and now you see it all the way up.
Yeah.
It's just getting through the day.
Exactly.
So not taught a faith-based approach to where they actually appreciate the life that they're given.
Yes.
And understand their spiritual gift and their value. They think that they're worthless. So they do this shit.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, that's the saddest part of it all.
It's horrible. Those
It
kids
is,
are
yeah.
horrible. It's like
the things that we've heard them say, the things that,
that they do in front of each other.
Yeah.
And it's like the things that they've said to Tristan directly. It's
that's a high school.
Yeah. Like that's like with hope within the next couple of years they'll balance out and they won't be so bad, but just the bleakness of it.
I know.
It's crazy.
It's terrible.
Nobody has any love for life anymore.
No, they don't.
It's just like whatever gets them through with pleasure seeking.
Pleasure is what it's all about now. That's the new thing. Especially, see, again, that goes on with the gay community.
Yeah.
That's all they care about is the pleasure factor.
Right.
How is it going to make them feel later on? I mean, with the gay community, it's like, okay, it wouldn't be so bad if they wanted a gay partner and they wanted to be with somebody. What makes it a sin from the Christian standpoint is the intercourse, is the sex,
right?
Is the gluttony. I mean, it's all
the excess,
of that. The excess, yes.
Yeah,
so if they were to sustain from a lot of that and just go with, being with their person and being happy, then there's no real issue with the gay community.
Right. Like, the pride community, really.
Yeah.
Like, the gay community is still, I think, pretty cool, but
yeah.
You get like what I call pride community.
Yeah, well, I'm just talking about as far as being good in the eyes.
Some of them did have good, long-lasting relationships, but it was
like,
I think that I don't know. It's just really hard to find it. You're right. Like,
but they can't have the sexual part of it.
Right.
That's pretty much what I'm saying.
I guess I'm only thinking of like one particular couple that I knew, and they didn't have any sexual relationship because he was dying. So it was like just off the table. So. That's like literally one that I can think of. It's like,
exactly
right, and it goes the same way with people that are intending to be married. It's like they're cheating the whole system.
Yeah, the ones like we've known quite a few. They don't want to get married, but it's like, well, we are married. We're just not on paper.
It's like you're spiritually married, but you're not like showing that actual ceremony or commitment.
Yeah, you're not showing the commitment and the whole point to the marriage.
Yeah, like we're like 3 times married over. We like did a hand fasting.
Yep.
Then an actual marriage, and then we've done it like a renewal, like in 2018, I think, because that'd be 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like 3 times. So we've
So I'm
reevaluated
sure
our
2028 we'll do another renewal.
So it's like, just like reaffirm where we're standing and what we expect from each other at this point.
I mean, that's crazy to think because just next year, 2025, I go to the class reunion for 20 years.
I know. You missed the 10-year one.
Yeah, I did. That's not a problem though. That one's nothing. This is the bigger one.
Yeah, we were going through hell with that.
Yeah.
Point. But now you're gonna have a teenager that's going to that school.
I know.
And the newborn.
Yeah. You're like, yeah. Now what? All right. Let's see which other ones we got. I think we got 2 more.
Notification bell, so you never miss out on our latest content. See you in our next video.
Hold on, let it go.
A shout out to Darren Writings and hooves and the legs and everything.
Yep, we'll take all the unnecessary parts.
Because nothing goes to waste here. So.
Nope, nothing. There's always a use for it.
And so good luck on that.
And there's another shout out to Chatty Charlie. I hope you're doing good. We miss having you on here. Sancho, shout out to you. I don't know where you are.
I think you're busy.
Yeah, probably.
Last I heard, you were really busy with stuff.
Yeah, he was doing his EMI class. So, okay.
Yeah. So hopefully that's going well for you, and I know you just got your guard card, so that's pretty awesome.
Keep it up and don't stop.
Check in when you can.
Yeah, check in when you can, and let's get that collab done.
He's learning language.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. I was gonna say something, but I forgot what it was.
Is masturbation really harmful? Isn't masturbation a reasonable alternative for having sex, as there is nowhere in the Bible that masturbation is cautioned against?
Actually, there is.
These are questions which some people may have concerning the subject of masturbation. Masturbation is...
They were talking about in that last video, it's like there's a way through Jesus Christ. And
yes.
I understand it's coming through like Christian channels. But for like our non-Christian viewers, it still comes down to like living a faith-based life.
It does, yes.
It doesn't necessarily have to be in Christ, but it's just something, again, higher than yourself, something that is like a divine medium, So, I mean, even if you're not a Christian, you can still adhere to these moral beliefs.
Exactly. I mean, it just depends, whichever way you want to go about it, but there's always a way to.
Yeah. And, there's some science behind it as well, so if you just want to take a scientific-based approach.
There is, for sure.
Then go that way, but just understand that it's calling you to be a higher self.
Exactly.
Representative. Okay.
Is the erotic stimulation of the genitals or other erotic regions by oneself in order to gain sexual satisfaction, and it's usually associated with the rabid use of pornographic images and sexual materials, such as videos, games, comics, and magazines, which are now made widely available, especially on the internet. A lot of people indulge in masturbation without paying attention or having knowledge of its disastrous and harmful effects, which are capable of ruining a person who indulges in it. It's easy to think that there are no consequences of masturbation, especially due to the fact that it's done in secret, where nobody is aware or where no one is watching. The act is usually done when no one might be able to see or give caution to the person doing it. However, God sees all things, including those things which are done in secret, where the eyes of other people cannot reach. And there's always a result that comes by when a person does the wrong things. It's very important to know that masturbation is extremely dangerous. It has very negative side effects, and though it might be pleasurable for the moment, it has serious mental, physical, and spiritual implications, with many movements have risen up to give reasons why masturbation is not bad, and why it should not be socially frowned at or kicked against. All these are the works of the devil, who seeks to divert narratives in conformity to darkness in order to take the souls of people. Masturbation is not the will of God, neither was it fashioned by God, as it is like having sex through the back door. Sex is good, and it was made to be only between husband and wife, for intimacy, enjoyment, and for procreation. But masturbation is perversion. It involves essentially perverting and twisting that which God intended and fashioned to be between husband and wife. Sex, which is made to be for married couples, is carried out by two persons, while masturbation is mostly carried out by one person through self-stimulation. That is not how it is meant to be. Masturbation can be regarded as uncleanliness, which is among the works of the flesh, and hence a sin against God. Galatians 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 18 says, "Shun immorality and all sexual looseness. Any other sin which a person commits is one outside the body, but one who commits sexual immorality sins against his own body." What are the dangerous effects of masturbation? Well, the first one is shame. There is always that shame within someone who indulges in masturbation. It's not the people around a person who masturbates that will shame him or her for masturbation, because how would they know? Masturbation is something usually done in secret, behind closed doors, and no one else sees or knows but the person indulging in it. However, the person who masturbates has a conscience which cannot be deceived, and the not normal nature of masturbation, being a perverted form of sexual gratification, makes the soul aware that something wrong has occurred, which can cause shame to be registered within a person who masturbates. Shame, which is an uncomfortable or painful feeling due to recognition or consciousness of impropriety, dishonor, or other wrong in the opinion of the person experiencing the feeling, and which is caused by an awareness of circumstances or unworthiness or of improper or indecent conduct, is very much associated with masturbation. Another dangerous effect of masturbation is that a person who indulges in it begins to lose touch with reality. Now, this does not happen in a bizarre way, like insanity. It's just that the person begins to lose sense of what normalcy feels like. Things that are normally interesting become boring. Normal sensations deplete because that rush which masturbation creates is always what is expected. So a person who indulges in masturbation may find it hard to find joy in the little things which can normally bring joy. This means that the person's brain becomes distorted, twisted, and warped. Another harmful effect of masturbation is that it reduces the span of attention and concentration. It's hard for a person who masturbates to maintain laser-sharp focus, and this affects such person in his or her day-to-day life, activity, work, or business. Also, the ability to be sharp and retain information is significantly reduced in a person.
But when you engage in actual sexual activity, it heightens your...
Because you're with another person. It's that other energy exchange that completes it.
It's crazy.
When you just do it alone, all you're doing is releasing.
No...
You're not flowing the energy.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. It's like, I was wondering if it would be the same thing after sex, and it's
No.
like, not, it's not, because you usually get way more productive, more focused,
Yes.
more driven, you know, it's like, it's total...
Because you're not depleting that energy and just getting rid of it.
Right.
That's all you're doing with masturbation. It just goes out to the world, and that's it.
Sex.
With inner, person to person, you've got the ebony and flow. It's
Right.
It'll come back to you, and even more can at that point. So that's why you get that. All right, let's go.
I get more mellow.
Well, because the energy is level.
Yeah, so it puts me more in that feminine state, you know, being just relaxed and complacent.
Gets me going.
Yeah. Interesting. You can.
person that masturbates because energy dissipates, whereby such person cannot act in the fullest maximum capacity.
One more, I think.
Tiredness and fatigue always creep in, as well as a lazy attitude, and this affects the performance of the person who masturbates. A person who constantly masturbates cannot go the extra mile in.
Okay, I'm going on to the next one. This is all pretty much saying the same stuff that we've already
If you
known.
want to check it out.
Yeah, this is
the
Trailblazer. The next one's Incubuses.
Yeah, this kind of talks about a more specific type of demon that comes with it.
And then we'll end.
Throughout time, heroes and monsters, romance and tragedy,
54 minutes.
Death and rebirth. Mythology helped shape the ancient world, explaining. This video contains mentions of rape and sexual assault. Viewer discretion is advised. Demons come in all shapes and sizes, and more often than not, are nefarious in nature when upon. One could argue, however, that no other demon of mythology is as heartless and utterly violating to humans than the incubus. The incubus, and its female counterpart the succubus, is a nocturnal demon that seeks out sleeping humans and sexually assaults them. The depravity of an incubus knows no bounds. It assaults its victims on not only the physical level, but on the spiritual as well. Victims of an incubus attack are put into a deep sleep, similar to a coma, where it is extremely difficult to awaken. The monster then appears to the victim in their dreams, often taking the form of the person that they desire most. While the victim has a euphoric experience in their dreams, the demon has its way with them in the waking world. Some legends say that as the incubus attacks their victim, they gradually drain them of both their physical and mental energies. The incubus will revisit the same victim repeatedly until their very life force is drained from their body and their soul is damned. Truly a terrifying concept, but it is said that an incubus, while powerful in its own right, can be fairly easy to defeat in hand-to-hand combat, preferring to take flight rather than fight. But an incubus would more than likely return to the victim the following night, like a depraved moth to the flame of flesh. As an unholy demon, the
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get right back to this in a second.
That was creepy.
I heard the dogs.
I heard them start after I heard the thing sound like children. It sounded like when Tristan was running up and he's going to be like asking questions.
Great.
And that's why I was like just looking at the time and like, we should be home.
No.
And then the dogs started in with their whining and howling.
Yeah.
It's that time of year, man.
Yeah, it is.
Ah.
Things are always exciting here.
We're gonna have to do some special Halloween ones, you know.
Yes.
But no, I definitely have experience with these sorts of things because it's like I'll be in like the best sleep. And then I start having dreams of us being together, and then I realize that I'm actually starting to touch myself in real life, and then it's like, you know, you have to like
whoa,
bring yourself out of that because, yeah, something's definitely feeding and trying to latch on. And
yes, one of us is gonna have to change.
Yeah, that's usually when I just end up coming and harassing you.
Yep.
incubus is said to be repelled by holy relics and sacred words. Making the sign of the cross, saying a Hail Mary, reciting biblical scripture, attending confession, and saying prayers by night could hold incubi at bay.
Could.
An exorcism
get rid
is
of
also
them.
believed to be an effective method of defeating them, though at least one Christian priest, Ludovico Maria Sinistrari, had argued would be ineffectual because incubus demons, quote, do not obey exorcists, have no dread of exorcisms, show no reverence for holy things, at the approach of which they are not in the least overawed. This starkly contrasts with the belief of the time that
Always
one's
been.
faith may be enough to hold demons and evil spirits at bay.
Keep them off to the side, you know?
Yeah.
How terrifying it must have been if alleged experts on demons and unholy beings of the time could not agree upon how an incubus can be fought off. The idea of a monster or demon preying upon sleeping humans is as old as civilization itself, perhaps even older. We are at our most vulnerable when we sleep,
Yes.
so it may be rather easy to assume something in the dark would come after us as an easy opportunity. In Mesopotamian mythology, the Lalu is a demon said to disturb and seduce women while they sleep, while his female counterpart, Lalitu, appears to men in their erotic fantasies. In folklore from Zanzibar, off the coast of Tanzania, the Popobawa is an evil spirit that sexually attacks men and women behind closed doors. Chilote mythology has El Troco, a repulsive dwarf who seduces young women and impregnates them. Hungarian folklore has the Liders, a creature that appears in the form of a haunting light and enters a home by night, appearing as a lost love. Brazilian legends tell of the Bocho, a demon with traits similar to a siren and an incubus, who appears as a river dolphin by day, but by night takes the shape of a charismatic man who seduces young women and takes them into the river.
Interesting.
Germanic folklore has the Alp, a small imp that perches on a sleeping person, causing nightmares
It's a
and
cat.
violating them in indescribable ways. Though the incubus takes many forms across world mythology, the unifying trait, the incubus and succubus are
Yes.
sometimes said to be one and the same being,
Pause.
rather than male and female.
Yes, I have had sleep paralysis quite a few times in my life.
It's
And-
weird though.
Yeah, some things have definitely gotten me with that.
You do this weird chattering,
Yes.
like strange noises, and bring your hands up, and you just like.
It hasn't gotten me in a long time.
No, I was gonna say the closer you've gotten, also with the faith-based life, the less you've had this.
The less I've had it happen.
But
It was more so when I was off my path.
yeah, it was like it wasn't medication related or anything because it didn't stop even after.
No.
We'd already been like doing the kratom for like 3 or 4 years, and
Yes, and I still had
we
issues
still
with it.
did it. And I think you did like a couple weeks ago. You started to, but you didn't get into it.
No, it went away pretty quickly.
And you asked, you're like,
Yeah.
"Can I just do my chattering thing?" I'm like, "No, I think you're okay." And yeah, but
Yeah,
there's also been a lot of energy that's been ramped up.
there has been, especially right now, especially with our new son on the way.
Yeah, that's the main thing about
Yeah.
all kinds of spirits hanging out, watching to see how that's gonna play out,
Exactly.
waiting to cause havoc and
Yep. That's for sure.
try to infiltrate.
All right.
Male counterparts. In these legends, the incubus is a gender-fluid entity,
God.
shifting its form as needed, depending on its prey. A succubus would be able to sleep with a man and collect his sperm, and then transform into an incubus and use that seed on women.
Wow.
Though some legends claim that incubus and other similar nighttime monsters are incapable of reproducing with humans, other legends claim it is a very real possibility. The offspring of a demon and a human union is referred to as a cambion. Some old horror stories held that the children were half human and half beast. Some described with 2 mouths, 2 heads, 6 fingers, 2 sets of teeth, 4 eyes, 3 hands, and 3 feet. Others were missing limbs or had 1 eye in the middle of the forehead, while others had no human form at all but were shapeless masses like sponges. There are some stories, however, where a cambion is granted mystical powers. In the Sumerians' king list, the hero Gilgamesh was said to be sired by Lailu
Sumerian is like
and went on to become a
most
powerful
fascinating.
king of Uruk with superhuman strength and bravery.
They fled the first cities anyway.
Arthurian legend tells of a nun who was impregnated by an incubus or a similar demon. The child born inherited his mother's good heart, as well as his father's magical abilities. The child would grow up to be called Merlin, a powerful sorcerer famed for his role in the story of King Arthur. The incubus is unique among the myriad of monsters and demons that lurk in mythology. Many monsters that attack human beings will kill humans, torture them for sport, perhaps even eat them. But the incubus is different. Rather than injuring people in the traditional sense, making them bleed or consuming their flesh, an incubus hurts people in body, mind, and spirit, draining them slowly through forced sexual contact, artistic representations of the worst nightmares of mankind. And the incubus has long been held as an embodiment of depravity, of sexual lust driven to the point of predatory.
It's like it knows that you have.
all we have.
I guess we could have finished the last video.
It's all right. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I have on that. I mean, I thought it was a really fascinating thing, and I hope that all of you got good knowledge out of it too. We're about an hour and 21 minutes in. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So we'll call it here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Join us Wednesday for our next edition of Woke Ass Wednesday. Find some more stuff to go over. And Saber Sam is putting out a 100th episode or 100th something episode. I think.
Stream?
I don't know, but he said he's taking questions. I asked a question. I wanted to know if he'd be willing to collab and go over some stuff, for wokeness. So we'll see if he responds on that one, and maybe we can get a cool thing going there. And then Sancho, again, I'm waiting with you too. I'm willing to do a collab there. So we just got to get it underway.
Alrighty. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody. How do I turn this one off? End stream right there. End.